sunlight, each step can be exchanged for a life. Hundreds of herds of zebras begin their journey of life and death. When death surrounds them on all sides, do they dare to resist? Zebra migration. The resistance to death in Kenya. The vast plains area located in southwest Kenya is one of the living wonders of the planet. From above, this place appears as an endless golden carpet, woven with dry grass, red dust, and rivers winding like the veins of the earth. This is a land where light and darkness intersect, where life and death exist in the same breath. Every year, when the rainy season ends, the grass begins to turn yellow, and the streams gradually dry up. The entire Masai Mara becomes the stage of the greatest migration in the natural world. From the south, in the vast Serengeti region of Tanzania, hundreds of thousands of creatures begin their great migration. Among them, the most prominent are those wearing black and white striped coats. Zebras, a symbol of resilience, solidarity, and a strong survival instinct. They are wild horses of Africa, carrying within themselves a contrasting beauty. Black and white, strong but fragile, calm but always alert. The striped coat is not only a unique mark of each individual. No two zebras are exactly the same. When hundreds of them move together, the stripes blend together, creating an illusion that confuses predators. They live in herds, with an adult male leading, protecting several females and their young. The newborn calf staggers to its feet. Its eyes and the first image that its brain engraves, so that it will never get lost in the sea of black and white stripes. Each of their movements is not only a search for food, but also a genetic instinct ingrained through thousands of years of evolution. They eat old, dry, and tough grass that many other species cannot digest, so they always go ahead, paving the way for the herds of wildebeest to follow. Under the harsh sunlight, the ground vibrates with millions of footsteps. The herd of zebras moves in quiet order. Not a single one separates from the herd. They know, if just one individual is alone, death will come closer. Zebras do not migrate alone. Accompanying them is a herd of wildebeest, strong but easily panicked creatures. Two species, two personalities, but they rely on each other to survive. Zebras have sharp eyesight, are highly alert, and detect danger from afar. The wildebeest, with their strong sense of smell and overwhelming numbers, formed a giant shield. In the vast savanna, that relationship was the key to both species' survival. After many days of crossing the parched grasslands, they found a rare, peaceful land. The herd began to relax. A few bowed their heads to graze. The calves stood beside their mothers. The only sound left was the steady chewing of grass and the rustle of the wind. But in Mara's world, peace never lasted too long. From the far edge, the grass gently swayed. A golden shadow appeared, as silent as a breath. The lioness, the patient hunter of the plains. Her burnt golden fur blended with the color of the earth, making her almost disappear from sight. Step by step, she closed in on her prey. Just a second of silence. Suddenly, the lioness pounced. But at that moment, resistance arose. The horse escaped with a powerful hind kick, which had evolved to accelerate in seconds, enough to fool even the fastest predator. The zebras had melted into the sea of grass, only their eyes filled with regret. In the line between life and death, life is not only for the strong, but also for those who dare to fight back when death is near. After their narrow escape, the zebras continued their journey across the dry plains of the Masai Mara. The wind carried the smell of burnt grass and the taste of dry dust that seeped into every breath. After many days of travel, their steps had become slow, but they still headed towards the water, as their instincts told them. In the distance, the horizon blurred in the white sunlight, and then a winding brown strip appeared in the middle of the golden grass. The Mara River. That water was the boundary between life and death in the Great Migration. High above, vultures circled slowly in the pale sky. They were not looking for prey, just waiting for a signal, their sharp eyes watching the water, where giant black shadows were moving. Nile crocodiles. The oldest killers of the Dark Continent, hidden under the brown mud, were terrifyingly silent. Their backs rose from the water, looking like harmless logs. A single bite was enough to crush the bones of an antelope or drag a buffalo to the bottom of the river. Downstream, a herd of wildebeest was also nearby. They stopped on the opposite bank, watching the zebras, as if waiting for the pioneer to open the way. The herd lined up at the river's edge, each one raising its head to look to the other side, where the green grass stretched out, inviting. A soft neigh rang out, and the whole herd began to rush down. The giant black mass sprang up, its jaws closing. When the water calmed down, only the waves spread out, where both the predator and the prey disappeared. The last zebras had finally crossed, their bodies wet and exhausted, their eyes seemingly devoid of hatred. Just the silence of creatures that understood. Life, sometimes, is also the luck of this moment. But behind the peaceful appearance of this land, danger had just begun. On the other side of the river, the savanna opened another chapter, a world of predators. middle of the dry field, a pack of spotted hyenas was moving. Their mottled yellow-brown bodies were hidden in the tall grass. Each step, light but sure, not missing a beat. They were opportunists, but also masters of tactics. They smelled their prey, leading them to a hollow area where traces remained on the ground. A half-eaten antelope carcass, the meat still fresh. They began to fight, hissing, grinding their teeth, the harsh sound echoing throughout the space. But then, without anyone noticing, another golden figure appeared from the distance. A lone male lion. The hyenas immediately changed formation. Half of them spread out to surround the lion. In an instant, the fight broke out. The fight lasted no more than 5 minutes, but left behind traces of a fierce confrontation between a lone predator and a whole pack. According to observations, hyenas accounted for 63% of successful kills from lions, but only when the lion was alone. On the contrary, when lions have their own kind, the winning rate doubles. When the zebra herds have left, this place is a place where survival continues in a new form. The sky of Masai Mara opens up a new scene, clear, wet, and full of the smell of earth. Life has returned. On the other side of the savanna, a faint pink strip appears, then moves. Flocks of flamingos fly in from Lake Natron, Tanzania, where they breed at the end of the dry season. When the first rains fall to the north, the shallow water and marshes around here become ideal for resting and foraging. Flamingos, long-distance migrants, can fly hundreds of kilometers at night, following the warm breeze and moonlight reflected on the salty lake surface. Flamingos' bodies are a strange combination of slenderness and extraordinary endurance. The average height is 1.2 to 1.5 meters, weighing only about 2 to 4 kilograms, but the wingspan can be more than 1.5 meters, enough for them to travel hundreds of kilometers in a single night. Young flamingos have pale, gray, or opaque white feathers only when they mature and eat enough blue-green algae and brine shrimp containing carotenoid pigments. Their bodies gradually change. The pigment is converted into pink, orange, red, or dark pink, depending on the environment and diet. Those living in Lake Natron, a highly alkaline and microalgae-rich area, often have a bright red color, while the populations in the Mara swamps have a lighter and softer color, like silk brushed by the dawn light. Thousands of flamingos gathered, their long, slender legs striding across the salty mud. On the dry sandbanks nearby, a troop of baboons gathered. The large, muscular males sat on the rocks, watching the lake as if watching a lavish party. Baboons are not professional predators, but they are omnivorous and bold, ready to attack any creature that was unguarded. Today, those careless pink shadows were the perfect target. The flock of flamingos had not yet realized the danger of this monkey. It gradually moved forward. In a moment, the monkey rushed forward. The space was chaotic and then silent. A flamingo had fallen into the hands of the hunter. In the distance, the rest of the flamingo flock had flown up, forming a hazy silk strip in the sky. They circled around many times, as if to say goodbye to their kind, then disappeared, where they were waiting for the next breeding season. There, on the white salt floor, they would build tall conical earthen nests, lay small white eggs, and start the ancient cycle of survival again. From the black and white striped footsteps breaking the red dust waves to the pink petals floating on the water, it was a symphony of countless intertwined rhythms of life. Zebras pave the way by grazing on old grass, sowing new shoots for the next arrival. Losses on the river nourish those in the mud and grass on both banks. Hunters and hunted together keep the whole plain in balance. Here, there is no beginning or end, only successive chapters in a book that never closes. Life, supported by life. In your opinion, which moment decides the fate of the zebra herd? Tell us your perspective in the comments section. If you love true survival stories like this, please subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any stories about wild nature.
Alaska, the last land of the wild. In the northwest corner of the North American continent, where the wind howls and the snow never lets go of the mountains, there exists a world where time seems to stand still. This is Alaska, a land where nature remains as wild as it was when it first began. Here, winter lasts more than half the year. The cold is not just a condition of life, it is a test of all that survives. Every animal, from the smallest to the mightiest, must adapt or disappear. From the giant brown bears that wander through the frozen valleys, to the caribou herds that travel hundreds of kilometers just to find the soft grass of the last season, life here is not for the weak. When the sun finally melts the frozen ice on Alaska's rivers, the whole land seems to wake up from its long slumber. The snow recedes, the ground is exposed to moist moss, and the cold streams begin to flow toward the sea. Bringing a magical gift, the salmon returned. There, on the rugged riverbank between the silent pine forests and the snow-capped mountains, a great creature stepped out of the darkness, the Alaskan brown bear. One of the largest bears on the planet, the brown bear can weigh up to 600 kilos, standing nearly 3 meters tall when upright. But what makes it the master of this land is not just its strength. It is its extraordinary adaptation to the harsh rhythms of nature. After more than 6 months of hibernation, it wakes up with an empty stomach. Its instinct is to seek out the fast-flowing waters where the salmon are rushing upstream to spawn. This is a rare feast of the season, lasting only a few weeks, but enough to determine the survival of the entire following year. The bear does not hunt like a leopard, does not stalk like a wolf. It simply waits, is patient, and uses incredible speed when the opportunity arises. One well-placed pounce and it will have a protein-rich meal, the fuel it needs to rebuild its energy after a harsh winter. Salmon are a source of life, but also a battlefield. The riverbanks are sometimes narrow, and the largest males will not hesitate to fight for the best position. Every slap, every roar is an assertion of position. No one wants to be the one to move away, because that means hunger. At the same time, the mothers appear with their cubs. They keep their distance, avoiding the males because carelessness can make the cubs become prey instead of protection. In the wild, the price of weakness is death, and the mother bears know that better than anyone. There are times when the whole stretch of river becomes chaotic, salmon splashing out of the water, bears plunging down like chariots. And then, when the feast has subsided, there is only the sound of running water and huge footprints imprinted deep in the cold mud. At the end of the season, when the salmon run out, the bears retreat into the woods, preparing for their next hibernation. But they carry no title, no throne. The brown bear's dominance lies not in power, but in a presence, slow, vast, as ancient as Alaska itself. Here, where time is frozen, the brown bear still passes through the generations as a living spirit. Reminding us that it is not ferocity, but endurance that makes a creature legendary. In the sparse birch forest of Alaska's interior, where snow is thick year-round and the sky is always hidden behind a blanket of grey-white clouds. There is a particular sound that rings out every late afternoon, the howl of a grey wolf. It is not the call of a stray individual. It is the declaration of the presence of a tightly organized, close-knit, and extremely wise community. The wild Alaskan wolf pack. In the world of wolves, there is no chaos. Each member has a place, a role, and a hierarchy. From the leader, usually a male and female pair who bond for life. to the young ones learning to track prey. All live, hunt, and survive as a single organism. It is solidarity, wordless coordination, and instinctive calculation that keeps the grey wolf standing. In a land where space is harsh and prey is always alert. Their meals are never guaranteed. Unlike bears that can wait by the riverbank or eagles that soar near the surface for fish, grey wolves must follow their prey for miles, silently and patiently. Once a target is chosen, usually a caribou, moose, or occasionally a lynx or a snowshoe, the hunt begins. Not every hunt is a massacre. Wolves do not kill to demonstrate power, but only when necessary. When an old and weak reindeer is separated from the herd will concentrate, not pounce, but gradually close the distance, pushing the prey into exhaustion. A decisive, precise, effective attack without prolonged pain. That is how nature works when the hunter knows how to respect the hunted. In winter, the snow can be up to 1 meter thick. But at this time, wolves demonstrate extraordinary endurance and intelligence. With wide feet, thick, multi-layered fur, and superior orientation, they are a rare species that can still move dozens of kilometers a day without being buried or lost. There are winters when a pack of wolves follows the reindeer herd for 300 kilometers from the icy interior to the coast. Along the way, they not only face ice and snow, but also bears, northern hyenas, and even the eagles that guard the carcasses. But through solidarity, organization, and a high survival instinct, they still survive. Not by sheer force, but by the fairness of their existence. In the wild world, where the strong win, the weak lose, the grey wolf chooses a different path. Hunting as a team, killing enough to live, and always knowing when to stop. It is this fairness that makes them special. Not because of their killer instinct, but because of the way they maintain the balance between hunting and conservation. In Alaska, where everything is harsh, the wolf is not king, but it is the one that nature must respect. and sometimes when the night falls on the snow-covered mountains. That distant howl is not just a call to each other, but an ancient echo that reminds us. Even in the wild, there is law, there is love, and there is respect for life. In the icy sky of Alaska, where the clouds drift like smoke from the great forest, there is one creature that never needs to set foot on the ground to prove its status. It is the bald eagle, the national symbol of the United States, the immortal spirit of the North, and one of the most powerful birds of prey in the world. With a wingspan of more than 2 meters, its eyes can see its prey from 2 kilometers away. The bald eagle is not just a predator, but a divine figure floating in the highest sky of the wilderness. In the busy world below, where bears hunt fish, wolves chase caribou, the eagle is in no hurry. It flies slowly, high and silently, observing everything as an entity standing outside the game, but ready to join in at any time. Under its snow-white feathers and its black wings, like the polar night. Hides a perfect body designed to survive in the harshest climates on the planet. No other bird can withstand temperatures of 40 degrees Celsius like the bald eagle. They don't sleep deeply like bears. They don't need to run like wolves. They just take off and can overcome everything. In the spring, when salmon start to return to the rivers, eagles seek out shallow bays and thawed streams. Unlike bears, eagles don't need to wade. They just glide across the water, swing their talons like 2 sharp hooks, and pluck salmon from the water in a split second. It all happens in the blink of an eye. But food isn't always available. Eagles are ready to fight with northern hyenas over carcasses, or chase crows and owls out of their skies. In the sky, there is no mercy, only strength and courage. An adult bald eagle can attack a seagull or a hawk if it feels its territory is threatened. They live in pairs, not only to breed but also to fly together, raise their young, and guard their own separate skies. Eagles mating can last a lifetime. On the snow-capped peaks or the tallest pines, they nest in the branches of giant trees. And from there they watch over Alaska like sentinels of the wild. Unheard, the eagles scream like lions or howl like wolves. But once you see those eyes, you will understand why. In a frozen and uncertain world, this creature has the appearance of transcendence. because there are those who do not need to rule, just exist to become legends. In the far north of Alaska, where the summer sky never fades and winter swallows the light for months. There is a journey that begins every year, from which no animal dares to stay, the migration of reindeer. Hundreds of thousands of individuals, males, females, calves, move together through thousands of frozen kilometers. From the dense forest land in the south to the flat snowfields near the Arctic Ocean. This is not a search for new lands. This is an instinct that has been written into the blood through tens of thousands of years of survival. Reindeer do not live for comfort. They live to reproduce, to raise their children, and to preserve their species. And the price for that is a journey through the frozen hell. Every step is a life or death choice. Newborn calves, just a few days old, have to run dozens of kilometers every day. Mothers are exhausted from losing their milk. Old males are lost from the herd, but everyone continues. For ahead lies a land where the snow recedes more slowly, where there is more moss, where it is ideal to give birth in safety. The enemy does not stand still. The packs of wolves, bears, and northern hyenas follow this journey as part of the natural cycle. They do not need to hurry. Just one calf gets separated from the herd, one old one slips while crossing a stream, and the whole herd cannot come back to save them. But the miracle is not in death, it is in continuity, in the fact that every year the reindeer still arrive at the right place at the right time. As if the heart of the Arctic still beats, without missing a second. Under the pale June sun of the north, thousands of reindeer calves are born on the ground where the ice has not yet melted. Their eyes are not yet open, their legs are not yet steady. But after a few hours they will stand and walk with their mothers, with the herd, with the ancient bloodline that has never been interrupted. In Alaska, harshness is the rule. Life is not about winning, but about repeating the journey of survival once again. When the last rays of the sun melt into the white snow, when the wolves no longer echo through the pines, and when the ice-covered sea is as silent as a glass lake, Alaska still whispers. Not with sound, but with presence. Of old bears resting on the banks of dry streams, of lone eagles circling above the mountains, of caribou footprints melting into the wind. Here, every mountain, every river, every iceberg remembers the story of the past. The story of creatures who not only survived, but lived with dignity. Not conquering nature, but blending with it. Not separate from the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, but being part of its flow. Alaska is not a land for the faint-hearted. Every creature here is a hero in its own right. Brown bears rise from their dormant season. Grey wolves live for their herds. Eagles silently guard the sky. Caribou cross the ice for their cubs. And the ocean, vast, mysterious, and alive. But it is no longer constant. Rivers are melting faster, winters are shortening. Fish migrate out of sync, and the permafrost is shifting. And in this change, humans are in a strange position, both observers and actors. We do not come to Alaska to see the wilderness. We come to listen, to understand that those roars, those howls, those waves, those silences are stories to be preserved. Not to control, but to respect. Not to own, but to accompany. Because one day, when the last human footprints in the Alaskan snow will fade, these stories will still live. In the eyes of an old wolf, in the wind rustling through a fallen tree, in the shadow of an eagle tearing across the horizon. These are the whispers of the wilderness, and we are only those privileged to listen.